We've got Matt's new prototype mist. It's an evolution of the mist that he's been in running since it started to become carbon in 2016, 2017. It's an evolution of the aluminium bike that he's been on for a couple of years with the brake arm. That got longer and longer with a longer reach to allow him to be more central on the bike, give him a different frame size. And this is basically an amalgamation of the bike that we had, but with a few more pivots, and allows the braking to work a little bit better under big compressions, and allows the suspension to work that much better under braking really. So yeah, this is like the second prototype that we've had. So the linkage is a bit more refined. We've allowed a little bit more clearance for shock sensors for the BYD system. We're waiting on a few bits of hardware for the frame, so that we can run the cabling for the shock sensor internally in the frame. It's just a bit more refined.
New this year on the bike, we've changed to Hayes brakes, matched up with Galfa pads and discs, so that's a pretty obvious big change. We've also got Proxim saddles, that's like the mountain bike version of Pro Logo from like the road biking teams. And I've been playing around with different flexes on the rear end, so you'll see Andy's got a prototype rear end at the moment, which is why it's not been painted, it's fresh off the printer. We don't really change too much. Couple of clicks here and there, but we're pretty happy with where we are. Tyre pressures tend to go up a little bit just because you want to roll fast here and try and keep the rims out of the rocks. Stan's have also released a new hub called the M-Pulse. Sounds really nice. 216 points of engagement, and there's no springs, it's magnets in the pulls. Sounds really nice, and it's really free flowing because there's no springs for resistance, it's just magnets.
So how are you setting up the bike for Adam? Is he quite a fussy guy?
Mate, Adam's an absolute nightmare of a guy. I mean, he's just came to me now and said, Adam, it's 50 minutes till your start time. I need the bike fettled. So we're here now. He's fussy about his brakes. He wanted a brand new back wheel, and I've done that. The forks are twisted, it's been a right carry on, but we're here now, plenty time. I'll get it sorted for Adam and he'll be flying come qualifying.
So we've got the new V10, V10.7? 8. We're on the 8 now. And we've had a few tweaks to it. So we've got a more linear stroke on the shock. So we're kind of changing a little bit the valving and the setup we've got in terms of shock tuning. We've got reach adjust caps in the frame here, so we've got 16mm adjustments in total. Wells is currently running it with +4 for Fort William, being a high-speed track, and overall the compliance of the frame is a lot softer. But, same chainstay length as before, a slightly higher bottom bracket, giving it a bit more ground clearance, but it rides in the travel a little bit further than the previous one, so the feeling's pretty similar, but just overall a smoother ride from the bike.
Alright, so this is Sam Hill's new Descent. It is now made out of carbon, which is new. The previous versions were made out of aluminum. The other thing that's kind of neat is that it's got adjustable reach. You can change the headset cups to either stay in the middle, which would be a 0, or you can go, I believe, +6 or -6. You can do that on all 3 sizes, the NP1, the NP2, and the NP3. And then the other thing that's really different from the previous generation is that it's got you can change the progression of the bicycle by just rotating the main pivot pin. So you don't have to take the bike apart or anything, you just loosen the 8mm that tightens up the main pivot pin, and you can rotate that, going from I think 21% progression into 29% progression, which is pretty cool that you can adjust it with only needing an 8mm wrench and not having to have a handful of parts everywhere when you want to change something. Yeah, so today we spent most of the day just playing with setup as far as the bike goes, because he hasn't spent a lot of time on a downhill bike, and now that he is running a downhill bike, it's also a new downhill bike, so we kind of starting from the beginning. Plus it's been a long time since either one of us has been working on downhill bikes. So today we tried 2 different size models, an NP1 and an NP2. When we tried the NP1, it was set in the long position. When we tried the NP2, it's set in the middle position. We played with some suspension stuff. We changed the amount of air pressure in the fork, changed the spring rate. We also, for the first time, played with some kit that will collect data and put it in an app for us. So we've got little motion instruments set up, which is pretty neat because it's compact and it goes on and off really quick. So that makes it nice. And both Sam and I are a bit older, so we don't always understand all the electronics. But this is really neat, especially when you're kind of at the beginning stage of setting a bike up, because it kind of gives you just some, even if it's just basic information, how much travel you've used, what your rebound speeds were, things like that. And actually it's been really cool to work with and play with. So we'll have another day tomorrow kind of doing the same thing, trying different things, and see if we can find a sweet spot in order to get ready for the first World Cup.